What if the people who worship Bruce Lee are the ones who understand him the least? That sounds like disrespect. But it might be the most honest thing you'll hear about him. Bruce Lee didn't want followers. He didn't want imitators. And he definitely didn't want to be turned into a symbol people hide behind. Yet today, his face is on posters. His words are stripped down into quotes. His body is admired. His kung fu is copied. And almost everything he actually tried to say gets ignored. Here's the uncomfortable question no one likes to ask. If Bruce Lee were alive today, would he even like his own fans? Because the version of Bruce Lee that's being worshipped now might be the exact version he spent his life trying to destroy. And to understand why, we have to separate the legend people love from the man they never listened to. Here's the thing. Most people don't love Bruce Lee. They love what he looks like. They love the idea of him. They love the body, the speed, the punch that looks superhuman. They love the movie version, the tough guy, the unbeatable fighter. And they love the quotes, short lines that sound deep when you put them on a wall or a hoodie. None of that is fake. But none of that is the point. Because all of it is easy to admire. And Bruce Lee never cared about easy. This is where the misunderstanding starts. Fans don't ask what he was trying to break. They ask how to copy him. How did he train? What did he eat? How fast was he really? They turn him into a formula. Follow the steps. Get the result. But Bruce Lee hated formulas. He didn't spend his life trying to build a style. He spent his life trying to get rid of them. And that's the uncomfortable part. The more people turn Bruce Lee into something to follow, the further they move away from what he actually believed. Because what he was really fighting wasn't other fighters. It wasn't styles. It wasn't even limits of the body. It was the need people have to cling to something ready-made so they don't have to figure things out on their own. And that's why. This gets people angry. Because once you see that, you start to wonder if admiration has slowly turned into avoidance. And that's where the real argument begins. This is the part most people don't want to hear. Bruce Lee did not want you to become like him. Not in your body. Not in your style. Not in your mindset. He wanted the opposite. Here's the truth. The moment you try to copy Bruce Lee, you've already missed him. Because everything he talked about pointed in one direction. Stop copying. Stop following. Stop hiding behind names. But fans do exactly that. They hear him say, "Be yourself," and then ask, "How do I be myself like Bruce Lee?" That question alone shows the problem. People take his words and turn them into motivation posters. They take his ideas and turn them into rules. They take a man who hated fixed systems and turn him into a system. That's not respect. That's comfort. It feels safer to say I follow Bruce Lee than to say I don't know who I am yet. Because following a legend gives you cover. It gives you direction without responsibility. And Bruce Lee was attacking that mindset his entire life. He wasn't saying, "Look at me." He was saying, "Stop looking at anyone." That's why his message sounds inspiring on the surface, but dangerous underneath. Because if you really listen to him, you lose your excuses. You can't blame tradition. You can't blame teachers. You can't blame the system. You're on your own. And most people don't want that. They want a hero. They want a guide. They want a shortcut. Bruce Lee offered none of those. And that's exactly why he keeps getting misunderstood. Here's where it gets even harder to accept. Bruce Lee didn't just challenge other people. He challenged the image people created of him, too. The world wanted him to be one thing. A fighter. A symbol. A legend. And for a while, he played that role. He had to. That was the only way to be heard. But that image slowly turned into a cage. People didn't listen to what he was saying. They watched what he was doing. They copied the moves. They ignored the warning behind them. Because listening would mean change. And change is uncomfortable. So instead, fans took the parts that felt good. Strength, confidence, power. They left behind the part that felt dangerous. The part where he tells you to drop your habits. Drop your identity. Drop the need to belong to something solid. And that's the truth most fans avoid. Bruce Lee didn't want to give you confidence. He wanted to take away the things you were hiding behind. That's why this question matters. If Bruce Lee were alive today, he probably wouldn't be angry at his fans, but he would be disappointed by how safe they made him. They turned a man who hated boxes into a box they could live inside. And once you see that it stops being a story about Bruce Lee, it becomes a story about why people need heroes in the first place. So here's the real question. What does it actually mean to respect Bruce Lee? It's not hanging his picture on the wall. It's not repeating his quotes. It's not trying to move, think, or live like him. That's the easy part. The harder part is this. Stop using him as a shield. Stop saying his name to avoid doing the work yourself. Stop borrowing his confidence instead of building your own. Stop hiding behind a legend so you don't have to face who you are. Bruce Lee wasn't trying to build followers. He was trying to take your excuses away. And that's why so many people love him without ever really listening to him. So, if Bruce Lee were alive today, maybe he wouldn't care if you admired him. But he'd probably care if you needed him. Because the moment you stop copying him, the moment you stop worshiping him, that's when you're finally doing what he was pointing at all along. Now, here's the line that splits people in two. Are you a fan of Bruce Lee, or are you a fan of the version of him that makes your life feel safer? That's the part no one agrees on. And that's exactly the point.